Go for it.
Hi, Hornets. It's great to spend some time with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in for a little bit of an update, some about COVID and the fall semester, and some in answer to questions that some of you might have asked. You may have noticed that last week, the Kansas Board of Regents and the 6 universities in the Kansas Regent system all released their enrollment information. And so I wanted to take just a moment and reflect on that. And the good-ish news is that Emporia State did the best of the 6 universities that are a part of the KBOR system. The bad news is all of the universities, including Emporia State, were down some in enrollment. So let me just kind of walk you through a little bit of how the enrollment figures played out for Emporia State and for some of the other universities. Emporia State, if you're counting on the basis of noses or belly buttons, has 49 fewer students this fall than we did last fall. If we count on the basis of a full-time equivalent student, we're at 102 down. So we have 49 fewer students on the basis of noses. Also on the basis of noses, let me just give you a couple of other figures from some other schools. Pittsburgh State has 247 fewer students. Fort Hays and K-State both have 875 fewer students. KU 665 fewer, and WSU 508 fewer. So in a weird way, we are to be congratulated for being down much less than the other schools. And we did see some expected declines in 2 groups of students. And I want to say thank you, because I know all of you have been helpful as we're recruiting students, or maybe if you're a student yourself and talking up Emporia State. So I want to say thank you for that. The 2 groups of students where we saw some declines were in incoming freshmen. We were on track as a university to have our 3rd straight year of an increase in our incoming freshmen. And that was true through early May. And I think through the early part of the semester or the spring, all of us thought that, as a country, we were going to be successful in sitting on our couches for about 3 weeks, and then COVID would be past. And as the spring semester wore on, and it became clear that we would not be able to have a fall semester quite like we had originally hoped, I think that had an impact on our incoming freshman students. One of the other things that impacted that group is that we weren't able to have the face-to-face tours on campus during the spring semester that we normally would have. And as I said, we were actually tracking well ahead for the 3rd year in a row of the prior year's incoming freshmen. Another group where we saw a bit of a decline is in the category of international students. And I have to say that although we had a bit of a decline, our team in the international area really is to be congratulated. There's another sister school of ours, and the president from that school said they had 1 student who got a visa for this fall. And we had 42 new incoming international students this fall. We were down overall with respect to our international students, but I think our team did a great job. Despite the fact that we were down by those 49 noses, we have some things that we should all celebrate. And so as you have opportunities to interact with your colleagues, please give them a pat on the back and let them know that we are grateful for their hard work. This was ESU's 2nd year in a row of breaking our all-time high number of graduates this past year. So the fact that we were down by just 49 students when we were beating our all-time high number of graduates is pretty amazing, frankly. And kudos to all of you who support the students here at Emporia State and help them achieve their dreams. Because at the end of the day, it is all about being able to graduate with that college degree. We also should celebrate the fact that for the 3rd year in a row, we have broken our highest retention rate on record. And I say highest on record because the truth is our records of our retention rate are only good back into the 1960s. And of course, we've been around for more than 150 years. But for the third year in a row, we beat our retention rate, which is the percentage of last year's freshmen who came back again as sophomores. And so, again, kudos to all of you, because what that says is the students are having a great experience during their first year and they want to come back. And groups like ACEs and the Advising Center and the Counseling Center are doing a fantastic job, as are faculty and other staff who interact with those students, and they want to come back for their sophomore year, and hopefully, of course, we'll see them graduate. We also had another all-time high number of graduate students. So as you're interacting with your peers, colleagues, friends who may be in the admissions area, in the international programs area, in ACEs, in advising, in the graduate area, thank them for their hard work, because we really outperformed all of our peers when it came to what our enrollment numbers look like for this fall. And of course, for next fall, we expect great things. But I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for that hard work. And for all of us, we're working through a semester that has been a really strange fall semester. So let me take just a moment and encourage all of you to spend some time taking care of yourselves, whether you're a student here at Emporia State, or a faculty member, or a staff member. Take some time to take care of yourself. When I was a faculty member, I remember one of these crusty faculty members who had been around for eons at the university where I taught told me that published is better than perfect. And as I think about this fall semester, we all push ourselves to give our students the best possible experience. And I want to encourage you at times to just ask yourself, do I need to pull back a little bit? I want to give them a great experience, but maybe, just maybe, if I'm driving myself nuts with the number of hours I'm putting in, I need to just ask, is it good enough? Because all of us need to take care of ourselves during this crazy time. As we think about what we offer to our students, we've talked about ACEs and counseling and other services. Let me remind you, if you're a faculty or staff member, we've got some resources available for you also. So if you go to the HR website, there's the Employee Assistance Program that is available 24/7. Of course, 24/7, you can also go for a great walk in one of the parks that's next to campus or in campus woods. Or maybe you want to take some time and learn something new. And of course, Emporia State has a wonderful tuition benefit program for you and for your family members. So just a few thoughts about some ways that you can take care of yourself. I know this is a crazy time for all of us, and we do it all for the students because we love our students. We're going to transition now before Q&A, and Shelley Gerke is going to provide a quick update on graduation and the updated calendar for the spring semester, because there are a few things that have changed. So Shelley, congratulations to you and your team for the great work in advising and enrollment, and I'm turning it over to you now.
Thank you, President Garrett. Hello, everyone. In Provost David Cordell's absence, I want to take a moment to reiterate some important graduate and academic calendar information that has been recently communicated. All adjustments have been made with the health and safety of our students and faculty in mind. So first, graduation. ESU's 2020 commencement on December 11th and 12th will be virtual. Students, faculty, staff, and family members are all invited to attend the ceremonies, but online. The ceremony for graduate students will be broadcast on Friday, December 11th at 6 p.m. And the ceremony for undergraduates will be broadcast on Saturday, December 12th, starting at 9:30. Both ceremonies will be available for viewing on the university's website afterwards too. As for academic calendar adjustments, you received a message, there was an email last week that the spring academic calendar has been adjusted to help reduce the spread of COVID-19 when we return to campus for the spring semester. So the first day of classes has been delayed from January 20th to Monday, January 25th, and there will not be a traditional spring break in March. Instead, we'll be back on campuses for the spring in face-to-face, hybrid, and online classes. And you will have 2 days that are non-class days on March 5th and April 16th. And that gives students the opportunity to take a bit of a break and recharge in place of what spring break kind of does. These changes won't affect the semester's end though. May 7th is still the last day classes will happen, and the final exams are May 10th through the 14th. The residence halls will open on January 7th, just like scheduled, and the residential life will communicate with their students and residents about the procedures for moving in. Now I'll turn it over to Kelly Hine, who will help us moderate today's call.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Quick, let you guys know who all is on the call. Allison and Shelley, of course. We have Kent Weiser, Athletics Director, Shane Shively, Foundation, Corey Faldine, IT, Brenda Kerner from Faculty Senate, and Sandy Valenti, Faculty Senate, Diana Coolman, and Ray Lauber. So we have a good group of people to answer questions that you might have. We've only gotten a couple of questions so far, so this week's call might be very short. If you would like to submit a question, go to emporia.edu live and submit your question. While we're doing that, while you're submitting more questions, I'll go ahead and ask the first one. And I'm going to ask Ray to respond. Are GAs required to come back to campus after Thanksgiving break?
That's a great question. So we've already announced that regular student employees can work after Thanksgiving if their employing unit has work for them to do, and if the student is available to do the work. But that's up to the individual departments. For grad assistants who are in grad assistantships, they are like our regular employees. So they are obligated to work through the entirety of the semester, just like our regular employees. Now, the caveat to that would be that supervisors would be able to determine whether that work would be completed in person, or whether it might be completed remotely, or some sort of modification of both of those. So for specific questions as to how that work would be completed, please make sure that you contact your supervisor. But yes, we do expect that our graduate assistants who are in those assistantships will continue to work through the rest of the semester.
Thanks, Ray. The next question is one that every attendee at every college across all of the nation would like to know the answer to. And here it is. How long will we have to be in classes like this? Allison, I'm throwing it to you.
That is a great question, and we all wish we knew the answer to it. But I think behind the question is, some real concern about how long we're going to be in classes like this. Let me take just a minute and share 2 or 3 thoughts. As we look at our classes here at Emporia State, you all may not realize this, but we actually have a much higher percentage of our classes that have remained face-to-face. If you remember, a few weeks ago, we rolled out what we call our COVID dashboard, and we update that every Friday by the close of business, and that has all of the data about the latest tests and do we have students in quarantine or isolation. One of the other categories of information that is contained in that dashboard is what percentage of the classes that, back before COVID, we all thought would be face-to-face are still face-to-face. And at Emporia State, 74% of those classes that were originally going to be face-to-face are still face-to-face. 20% of the classes moved to some kind of hybrid. So maybe I'm in the class face-to-face on Tuesdays and the questioner's in the class face-to-face on Thursdays, and on the opposite days, we're sitting in front of our computer. And then 6% of the classes actually moved to fully online. You know, I had a chance earlier today, I was walking around campus. I had a chance to drop in on a math ed class, and I really enjoyed that. The math ed class was out on the patio of Visser. The faculty member was out there in a rocking chair on the patio, and they were enjoying this beautiful weather. But the truth of the matter is, every single one of us looks forward to the day when we can be back not only to regular face-to-face classes and less time seated in front of a computer monitor and more time interacting in all the ways that we enjoy interacting, whether it's going out to eat with one another or playing games with one another or just hugging on one another because it's been a long time since we've seen each other. And no one knows the answer to that. I think if we knew the answer to that, we could make a ton of money. But what we do know is that we have great faculty, staff, and students here at Emporia State. And we have really done an amazing job so far during this semester. And my hope is that we'll have a vaccine before long and COVID will be behind us and that we can get back to things as they used to be. But I don't know when that will be. Right now, the expectation is that in the spring semester, it will look a lot like the fall semester. And I know that's probably not exciting for any of us, but that's what it takes right now for all of us to help our students achieve their dreams. And we're certainly committed to doing that. Long-winded answer to say, I don't know, but I really wish I did.
Very, thank you, Allison. I think you had some kind of connection with the universe because while you were speaking, someone came and asked what will classes be like next semester, which you just answered.
Okay.
Good work. The next one that came in, students are asking who to see or who to contact about getting a refund for caps and gowns that were ordered for graduation. Let's see. You know, that is one, I don't know if anyone on the call happens to know the answer to that. If you do, speak up. But otherwise, I will make sure that when we do a follow-up communication that we get the answer to that included into that communication so students are aware of how to make sure that if they want a cap and gown, they can get it. And if they'd like a refund, they can get that too.
Kelly, I might just throw a pitch in there real quick. The caps and gowns are ordered by the students through the bookstore or some other means on their own. And so that would be something they could contact the bookstore about if they've already ordered them. And we could get more information from Barnes & Noble on how they could do that. And as you said, put that in a future communication.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Here's the next question. I'm going to throw this out. Shelley, it's academic related, but and Allison, so Shelley or Allison, this one might be for you. It seems some departments are back face-to-face, but some are still operating virtually. At what point will all of campus be required to be back face-to-face? I think our students would appreciate it.
So
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Shelley.
Well, I was just going to say, I think the president kind of alluded to that. We just don't know the answer to that right now. I think we all want to be back face to face as soon as possible. I know it gets kind of lonesome around here, not seeing students everywhere. But until the magic potion is created for COVID-19, we got to play it safe and keep our students as healthy as possible.
And if I could add one more thought, as we approached the fall semester, we knew as a university that we would have some faculty and some staff and some students who themselves had a health condition that really meant it wasn't as safe for them to be in a face-to-face learning environment as it would be for others. And so there's a federal law, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and of course we're trying our best to be fully compliant with that. But one impact of that is that if there's a faculty member who has some kind of health condition that makes it not as safe for that individual to be in a face-to-face learning environment, then that faculty member has an accommodation under the Americans with Disabilities Act to teach remotely. And so with respect to different departments, it has a little bit to do with just the luck of the draw. In some departments, there are more faculty members who may fall into that category than in others. I think I mentioned earlier that if you look across all of our classes for the fall semester that were originally intended to be face-to-face, only 6% of them moved to fully online, and the rest are either completely face-to-face or partly face-to-face. And that's actually much better than at most other schools, but it is true that there's some differences by departments, and it's just sort of luck of the draw.
Thank you. We have not gotten any other questions. Just a reminder, our next Q&A call is scheduled for October 22nd. We'll continue to evaluate this process to see if this is still the right forum, if bi-weekly is still the right cadence, or if we need to back off to once a month. So if anyone has thoughts about that, feel free to submit comments in through the QA session form on emporia.edu/live. I also want to let everyone know that Dr. Allen, our Chief Diversity Officer, will be hosting the next Humanity First Forum next Wednesday, October 14th at 3 o'clock Central. So keep an eye out for information about that. You should be receiving an email invitation in your inbox. And also, I would encourage people to check out what theater has going on. They're doing mini musicals on Mondays. There's going to be an outside showing of Medea. So pay attention to what's going on campus. There are some fun things happening. So with that, Allison, would you like to close us out for the day?
Certainly. I just want to take a moment to again say thank you to all of our faculty, our staff, and our students for making the best of a really strange fall semester. People here at Emporia State are fantastic, and I feel very privileged to work with all of you. And I hope that you will have an opportunity here in these next several days and weeks to just spend a little time kind of unplugging and taking care of yourself, because this is certainly a very strange time for all of us. But I want to say thank you, because I believe that Emporia State is really shining at this crazy time. Thank you so much, and stingers up.